Hello, my Wolfpack, and welcome to an unexpected bit of news for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC. Now, with this, there are some cool new things. I have already watched it, and this is going to bring about a prediction video again, which, who knows? It's going to be one of those ones that is just questionable, but it is 3 minutes long. I have had a quick look at it already, but I want to talk it through, break it down step by step, and just get back into this because it's really exciting, really interesting news, and really, really cool. Just something for you guys to kind of look at as well. So this one is specifically for the Indigo Disc. Now, one thing that I have seen kind of on Twitter is that there is going to be something on the 22nd, I think it is. Like, there's something later in August. There's another thing that's going to be in August, and perhaps that one is going to be the Teal Mask, and this one is just the Indigo Disc part. There has been, I think, some kind of matcha, kind of tea or coffee or whatnot sets have been given to certain content creators or I know Joe Merrick, the guy that runs Cerebee's had one. Austin John Plays, they've had one. And people that are at the kind of World Championships, I think some people have been given them and they have had a date on them. So there is that as a factor. So perhaps that we're going to have the Teal Mask later on. But now we have got the Indigo Disc. And as you can see immediately, we have got starters here, which is something that's really, really exciting because we're going to be able to see that we can get the vast majority of starters in this game. So we see, obviously, we've got Gen 4, Gen 5 here. You've got Rowlet, you had Snivy, you had Froakie. So this is bringing us all up to Gen 7, which basically kind of gives us the vast majority. Snivy actually is fantastic. We see, really hope we can get the Contrary ability because, honestly, Contrary Superior is a fantastic Pokemon. I've never used it because I've never had opportunities to use it because it hasn't been in kind of play when I've been doing the game, doing competitive. So, that's something that I'm really interested in, especially with all these new moves and new stuff that's going on. But yeah, so it looks like we've got the vast majority of starters. You've got Tepig, which again is a Pokemon that I don't think has been in the Switch games yet. You've got Litten, and you've got Turtwig there. Now, they've obviously all available on Switch now, but I think the only other ones were the Gen 2 ones, but if you keep on watching, you have just seen, at least, you've just seen there is Chikorita, which was just to me there's going to be Cyndaquil and also Toadstool. If we didn't see Cyndaquil, which, I might have just had a bit of a blitz emotionally and physically, and no, there wasn't a Cyndaquil there, but that at least suggests to me that Totodile and Cyndaquil is coming as well, and if it's not, that's going to be really interesting, but I think we've seen every single generation except for Gen 7. We haven't seen. I can't recall seeing Grookey, Scorbunny, or Sobble. Is it Sobble? I can't recall seeing any of those three. So perhaps they are limited to things just at the minute. I think we did have a TERA raid for one of them. I think we had the Cinderace one. So who knows, but perhaps they are available and they've not just been shown, or perhaps they're not available yet. So that's something to consider. First partner Pokemon are appearing in spades. Now, I don't really know what that means. What does spades? Does that mean that there's a lot of them appearing, or they're appearing in certain areas, or I don't actually know what that means. I actually need to look this up. What does it mean when you say appear in spades? Appear in spades meaning. Is this a saying? In abundance. Yeah, in abundance. So in lots of sorry, I am one of the worst people for getting these kind of inferences or I can't think what they're called. Yeah, but any sayings I really, really struggle to get. So apparently it means in abundance. There's going to be lots of them available. So it isn't just going to be a case of you can catch one. It's a case of you can catch loads of them, which obviously I think makes sense because starter Pokemon do seem to be a rarer breed of Pokemon. Because obviously in your game there's only one of them available, barring things like Let's Go, and with that, obviously, this seems like it's some kind of cultivation for Pokemon. So maybe rarer Pokemon are allowed to breed here, similar to how basically any zoological society works, where it takes animals that are endangered to protect them. So perhaps that is kind of what's going on here. But again, really, really cool that we've got all the starter Pokemon back. Oh, so there's Grookey, Scorbunny, no Sobble, there's Sobble, but yeah, so everyone's back. Everyone's here to take the expression from, what's its name, from Smash. But actually, one thing really interesting is that you've got this cave of Mudkip, which I don't know why, but there's just something interesting about this. Feels interesting. It feels like there is some kind of aspect to it, and I can't go beyond that in my explanation. But yeah, so obviously we can see 2 there. We can catch them, which would be expected. And then terastallizing. Obviously terastallizing is a thing, the main function of the game. But assumably, and there's just one thing here, assumably you're going to be able to catch... Wow, that is a really, really poorly pixelated picture that I've just paused on. That is absolutely awful, and I don't think that's my aspect ratio. Hold on, is it... Oh no, wait, I'm autoed onto that. So yeah, let's go onto 720. Okay, that's better. It's still a bit blocky. Let's go for HD. Let's just go there. Okay, there we go. That's a lot better. Apparently I don't know why I went to auto 360. I think my internet's just gone down the drain recently. I've noticed that my uploads have been much slower, but beside the point. So obviously you get your normal Terra type, but there is obviously the capacity to change Terra types. We've had that for since the game came out, so that's all good. And we've also got Smeargle back, which means that VGC is probably going to be covered with Smeargles, because obviously Smeargle can get any move that you ever want on it. Well, within reason. I think there's 1 or 2 moves that you can't have, but yeah, that's a really interesting thing to know, and that Smeargle is going to be at least catchable, or at least viewable, but that means it's got to be catchable as right, well, because otherwise, why would you have it in the game? But as you can see here, there's a flying type Blaziken there, so yeah, obviously you can get a different one. Whether you can catch them like that, or whether you have to change it, I don't know, but you obviously have the ability to change Terra types, which I shouldn't even need to say because it was already in the game. Now, oh, there was Golurk there as well. Now, Golurk I don't think is in the game currently, which is another cool Pokemon. But Pokemon Battles Burning Bright, this is something that I was really interested in because you get to see something new. And I love seeing something new. And it takes me back to when they unveiled things like the Covert Cloak. So you've got Dondozo here. And the first move we have is Psychic Noise. Deals damage and prevents the target from healing. So if you have that really annoying Roost, Recover Spammer, Psychic Noise is going to be the move for you. Now, I will admit, in VGC, this probably is going to look pretty amazing, especially if we get the Porygons back, because I know that I use Porygon 2 all the time. Things like Pollen Puff, I don't know how that necessarily works, but prevents the target from healing, so whether Pollen Puff will get around that, I'm not sure, but any kind of healing capability, I'm assuming that's going to work on items. It looks like it's Heal Block on top, and I don't know if Heal Block covers those other ones. In fact, I can check that very briefly here. Actually, I'm not even going to bother checking it, because one of you guys can guaranteedly tell me down in the comment section what Heal Block stops, but yeah, that is preventing the target from healing, which obviously, you know, things like Recover, Spammers, Roost Spammers, they can't continue to do that. So this is a move that is very, very welcome. It means it's not as good as Taunt necessarily, but Psychic Noise, it deals damage and also stops them from healing. So it is a move that is going to be usable. So I think that's personally pretty interesting. So here it says, because Heal Block, so it is basically Heal Block combined with move. Now we've got Upper Hand, strikes before a target's priority move. So this one requires you to have some really strong predictive skills. So whether this works before a fake out, I'm not sure. That one, because fake out is +4, I believe, in priority, which is the highest priority that can possibly go. And this will probably be also +4, so it'll probably depend on what they go for. But if you can predict they're going for priority moves, so for example here, the Scizor is going for Bullet Punch, the upper hand is used, and that does damage, and also causes the flinch. So essentially it looks like it's a new form of Fake Out. It's really interesting they choose Hariyama for that, because I'm pretty sure Hariyama gets Fake Out. So, you know, upper hand, I don't know if this is going to be a fighting type move, or what this is going to be. I also like the background display on this. Like the fire, the fairy, and the fighting is really interesting there. I don't know what that possibly could mean, or if that means anything, but that's something interesting. But upper hand is something that we can look at, and I might have a look afterwards on the Pokemon website, see if there's anything on there. If there isn't anything on there, then I won't include it, but if there's something after this video, then yeah, there you go. And here we go. We have got the Raging Bolt Electric Dragon Raikou. Now, this thing has been getting a lot of hate, and I'm going to be honest. When I first saw it, I was really excited. And then I actually looked at it, and I was really not happy. But now that I've actually got used to it, I really like it. And it's because it's obviously based on a Brachiosaur, which is the long-necked dinosaur. Now, you've got... oh, God. Is it Raging Drake? Is what Suicune's called? I can't remember. I never actually really... I haven't really played the game in competitive since that joined. But that is obviously based on a Velociraptor, in my opinion. Velociraptor or a T-Rex, but it doesn't seem big enough to be a T-Rex, so I think it's Velociraptor. And then you've got a Brachiosaurus here, which means that Entei is probably going to be a different one of these kind of main species. So it could be a Triceratops, it could be a T-Rex, it could be a Stegosaurus, it could be an Ankylosaurus, any of those kind of things. I would expect it to be one of those four. Possibly a pterodactyl, though that feels really, really weird. So, yeah, I guess we'll kind of see what happens with that. But that does mean that Entei is definitely going to be some kind of dinosaur. That's my prediction here. And it's going to be one of those 5 that I listed off. I can't talk today. Oh, my God. But yeah, I quite like this thing now. It's grown on me. And I think it just has got some pizzazz. I understand the design and the reason for the design, because they've decided to go for this trio, but it's really, really interesting, because if you look at the background of these Pokemon, they were created by Ho-Oh essentially because their past forms died, and just there's theories within this, and I can't quite make sense of everything. I think we need to have the DLCs and the Hidden Treasure of Area Zero. I think we need to have that to understand exactly what these paradox forms are and why they exist and how they exist. So that's something that I think is really interesting, and we're going to have to get into in the future because, yeah, we'll come back to it. But in terms of the actual moves, we have got Thunderclap, which strikes before a target's attack, which actually is really awesome. So priority electric type attack. I don't think we have any priority electric type attacks currently, which I assume this is probably going to be a Raikou or a Raging... Is it Raging Storm it said it was? I can't actually remember. Raging Bolt. I'm assuming this is going to be an exclusive move to Raging Bolt initially, but perhaps going later on into maybe probably Gen 10 at this point, that might become a not signature move, and that might become a move that more Pokemon have. Or it might be something that's initially shown as a signature move for Raikou, but actually other Pokemon can learn it as well. And I think that's something that is a possibility. So, yeah, Raging Bolt looks like it's going to be a good move, a priority move, especially for Raikou, which isn't going to be particularly fast, I don't think. So that'll be fantastic. And then we've got Iron Crown, which is Steel Psychic type. Now, normally it's Steel Fighting. Now, Steel Psychic, you know, is a pretty decent combination. You've still got quite a few weaknesses out there, but, you know, it's something that can be used. And here we've got a Mimikyu that comes in, and what they have is Tachyon Cutter, which is guaranteed to hit twice in a row. Now, this is fantastic because it is guaranteed to hit. Now, in terms of actual competitive play, not very many users use evasion boosting. There is one Pokemon YouTuber that I'm aware uses evasion boosting and thinks it's a really good technique. But actually, the vast majority of Pokemon YouTubers do not, sorry, the Pokemon players do not use evasion boosting. It's not a way that you want to win. It just causes people to become upset and angry. And frankly, my opinion of it... What on earth? Something just made noise. My opinion on it is that if you've won for evasion boosting, you haven't really won. You haven't shown any skill or tactic. You've just essentially rolled a dice. And I don't like those kind of games. I really hate it when you get a luck-heavy game, like I've admitted in the past as well. I've been like, I did not deserve a win because I got a lucky crit. And that's the kind of thing that that's my opinion on it. I don't think the evasion boosting thing, but the fact that it hits twice in a row is also really good. It would be nice to see if we've got any more information in terms of the power of these moves, because I think this would be a very nice, powerful move, especially if it is specifically for Iron Crown, did they call it? Was it Iron Crown? Can't actually... Yeah, it was Iron Crown. So, yeah, that would be really cool if it is a really powerful move. But that is just something that is really cool. It hits twice in a row. I think it's going to work similar to like Twin Beam, where it probably will be like 40, 50 power. Now here is where we get to a really, really, really interesting point. Showing all the different TERAs, which obviously, yeah, we know, we've all used them, we've all got to grips with them now. Well, within reason. It's still difficult to predict sometimes. But we've got this. Now, this is obviously related to Terrapagus, or whatever its name, Terrapagus, or whatever its name is, I don't know. But this is a new form of Terra typing. And what is really interesting is that I don't think there's anything online about this yet. In specifics, I have seen that that any Pokemon can get this. Any Pokemon can get this, so it's not exclusive to just one Pokemon, but what actually is it? And then I'll play out the video and then I'll kind of talk a little bit about it. So, this new form of terrestrializing, and this is looking like this is potentially, it's not the actual gameplay footage, so it's not the way that it's going to happen in the game, but you can see that you get every single Terra type crystal there. So every Terra type crystal is in this kind of crown, and then you've got above you've got the terrestrialized insignia. And that is what this terrestrialized looks like it potentially is. And it ends off with that. It basically ends off with this just saying, yeah, that is something. DLC is now available. Obviously, that is so related to the Indigo Disc. And that's probably where it's going to be initially seen. It probably is going to be a high-cost thing, because if it's really overpowered, I guess we'll see. But let's just see if is there anything else in the rest of it. Information. Okay, so yeah, we know about this from kind of the Mewtwo stuff. So add Mew to your team, challenge Mewtwo. I don't think that's available just yet, but you can get your very own Mew. So you know, do that. But yeah, obviously Wednesday, September the 1st. Wednesday. That's really interesting. I'm going to struggle because I have got work on the Thursday and I definitely can't have a day off because I'm a teacher. But yeah, I'm going to be tired that Thursday. Well, okay, so I don't know what this is. And it might be online. And if it is online, I'll chuck it in at the end here. But I am just going to throw out two possible theories here. One, it's a typeless, so essentially all attacks come in are neutral damage, and the terror, like, because you can see, wait, is it back here? So you can see that there is Terra Blast there. So there is, so SW or something. I don't know what that SW Swallow maybe. Terra Blast. Protect. I don't know what this top one's going to be. But the fact that it turns this colour, I reckon what that means is that the Terra Blast will always be super effective. So whilst this Terra type, I think it's going to be a typeless, but the Terra Blast is always going to be super effective. That would be my prediction. Or it could be that... No, that doesn't make sense. I was going to say it could be that you're able to switch between different types. You're able to choose your typing each turn. But I feel that that's just, one, way too OP. And two, it's just too overcomplicated of a mechanic to work into the game, I think. So I think realistically what this is it's a typeless, so you get neutral damage on anything, from anything, and then your Terra Blast, I think, is super effective against everything. That would be my prediction. I think that that's the most realistic sense. It could be the Terra Blast is normal effective against everything, but that just seems a little bit too underpowered in a way, I think. But at the same time, by having typeless, you kind of get rid of your weaknesses and get rid of your strengths. So it's difficult to make that kind of choice there. So yeah, I think I'm going to have a look and see if there's any more information on this on the Pokemon website. If there's not, then I won't have a second bit to this. But if I do find any information on any of the stuff from this video, there'll be a section just coming now. But if not, then obviously there wasn't anything. Okay, so I've just had a look and I've just seen that there is a couple of things on the website. So what I'll do is I will go through and I will read them. So, a 19th Terra type has been discovered. The Terra style phenomenon first appeared in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and grants Pokemon special powers whilst also making them sparkle like brilliant jewels. It plays an important role in battles. We definitely know that because it can switch a battle up completely. Terrestrializing your Pokemon opens up a new world of strategy since it allows you to change your Pokemon's type to its Terra type, which can increase the power of its moves and of the same type or change your Pokemon's weaknesses. And now in the hidden treasure of ancient Area Zero, a new Terra type has been discovered, a 19th Terra type. Something about it seems different from the other 18 Terra types seen before, but much is yet unknown. What is the truth behind this 19th Terra type? So as you can see here, and this is different from in the video, but you can see that, one, this has a unique effect on Terra Blast. Two, it has a unique factor in the fact that it can be with any Pokemon. I don't know where I'm going with that. So yeah, no, it can be on any Pokemon. So whether this has to be a very specific Pokemon, like that you have to catch, or whether it's just an expensive thing, or whether it is just changed like it normally is, but we don't actually know what is about it, and perhaps we will find out more about this later on. I think this is something that's going to be really interesting for our battles in the future. I did also see that there is some information on the new moves in Upper Hand and Psychic Noise. So new move, Upper Hand, with this fighting type physical move, so it is fighting type, user reacts to the target's movements and strikes with the heel of their palm. Target was trying to use a priority move, Upper Hand will get the jump on them, allowing the user to attack first and cause their opponent to flinch without fail. This move will fail if the target wasn't ready any priority moves. So that gives us the information that basically you do need to make that prediction, because you don't have the fallback of if it wasn't a priority move, you just don't go, essentially. That it just fails. But the interesting thing is that, one, it is a fighter type move, and two, it is something that's potentially going to be usable in very specific scenarios. Now, I don't see this necessarily working a great deal in the vast majority of situations. Perhaps in VGC, where Fake Out is relatively common, but I think this just requires a little bit too much predictive power for it to become a widely used move. So I think this one's going to be an okay move, but I don't think it's going to be like a widely used everyday move that people are using. And then we've got Psychic Noise. The Psychic type special move deals damage as it bays target in abrasive sound waves. This attack also prevents target from recovering HP through moves, abilities, or items for a certain number of turns. Okay, so it probably lasts 2 or 3 turns, let's be honest. And so abilities, it will not heal. I can't think of any healing abilities that exist anyways. Moves, so they can't use recover. I assume moves can't be used on them as well. And items, so things like leftovers or berries, will not work. So also that is going to be some capable thing there. So that's all the news that I have got for this video, and yeah, I think I'll finish this off here. I did do an original outro on the other side, but screw it, let's do it here as well. Thank you so much for watching. Please do like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. What do you think this new 19th TERA type could be? What do you think is the realistic, or what would you what is the realistic expectation with this, and what would you like to see with this? I think that would be really, really interesting. I think there's definitely some overpowered ways of thinking of it, but it won't be that overpowered way. But yeah, I'm going to finish off. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you soon.